It is an hour. It's fast. Yeah, it's a relativity.
We'll start. Yeah. So, good evening. Welcome to today's event at the Széchenyi Academy of Letters and Arts. My name is Győző Ferenc. I'm the executive president of the academy. And thanks for coming to this inaugural lecture. As you look around, you sort of justify that we have this reputation to be a secret society. The Academy of Letters and Arts is indeed a secret society. Only the initiate attend our lectures. I am honored to have the chance to have Simone Fontanelli as our speaker. The inaugural lecture is going to be titled "We Can Generate Hope Through Art." That's the title of the inaugural lecture. Do come. No, they don't come. Mr. Fontanelli was born in 1961 in Milan. He studied guitar and graduated in composition at the Conservatory of Milano in '89. And also studied philosophy at the University of Milan as well. He won the prestigious the sixth Salzburg International Mozart Composition Competition in 1995, and since then has been considered one of the most exciting and authentic contemporary music personality. As a composer and conductor, he has an enormously wide range, both geographically and musical history-wise. This early afternoon, I was just listening to YouTube, or watching YouTube, Simone conducting the Wiener South Chamber Music Orchestra. It was the composition of a Spanish composer, as far as I could detect. And then another one, the William Tell Overture by Rossini, as performed by the National Taiwan Symphony Orchestra. So from in Europe, in Asia, and in the United States, he's very much at home and performing. But just before this short introduction, he told me that actually he shifted the emphasis of his career from conducting to composing. One of the most memorable success as a composer of his was as well in Einmal Stückholz, Once Upon a Time There Was a Piece of Wood, based on the well-known story of Pinocchio by Carlo Collodi. It's a children's opera commissioned by the Cologne Széchenyi Orchestra, and after that it got performed in Italy, Hungary, Switzerland, Spain, and Austria, and who knows how many other places. Also, a CD recording was released in 2019 or so, yes. Mr. Fontanelli was the director of the Gampa Festival of Contemporary Music in Brunswick, Maine, US, and has been was invited to give master classes at various venues about musical performance, musical analysis, and composition in prestigious universities in Europe, Asia, and the States, including the Juilliard School in New York, or the Royal Academy of Music, Royal College of Music, or the Guildhall School of Music and Drama in London. Also at this Ferenc Academy of Music in Budapest. He has been on the faculty since 2000 of the Mozarteum University in Salzburg, or the Universität Mozarteum Salzburg. He teaches contemporary music performance and the director of the Institute for Neue Musik, and also is on the faculty of the Accademia Musicale Chigiana in Siena, which is a summer school. So Simone Fontanelli is quite prolific and very active, and we welcome him heartily to our secret society. And I ask you now to deliver your lecture. So ladies and gentlemen, I give you Simone Fontanelli.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, dear friends, can you hear my voice well? Thank you. The acoustic is very beautiful. Well, I'm very, very honored, and I thank you very much for being appointed as honorary member of this secret Széchenyi Academy. And of course, I'm very happy to be here with you. Well, as you know, for my lecture, I choose the title, Can We Generate Hope Through Art? But it might also be, Can Art Give Us Hope? Well, for me to find this title was very difficult. When I found it, I said to myself, okay, what can I say about it? And I was really scared, honestly speaking. The words art and hope contain infinite meanings. We may define them historically, philosophically, anthropologically, and so on, and so on, and so on. They are two concepts, we know. They are both universal and individual in continuous transformation. Each one of us develops a personal, throughout our lifetime, of course, a personal sentiment of art and hope. And since life is always transforming, these sentiments also is being transformed. I do not intend here to make any philosophical speech, because great minds already wrote about it since ancient Greece up to nowadays, and I am incapable to do that. I will talk about a concrete aspect of living and making art connected to the real life that each one of us must face daily. I will talk about the questions and the doubts that an artist might feel every day. I think one thing is obvious. We are not born knowing what art is. We discover it. Likewise, we are not born knowing what hope is. We discover it. By discovering and cultivating both, we understand how necessary they are. Indeed, without art and hope, life cannot exist. Let me take now one particular aspect of art making. And in my opinion, in a very simple way, art making is the ability to imagine and then to transform into something real what we had imagined before, whatever. A fascinating and mysterious process of transformation. All this driven and motivated by our desire to act. Here we can make, I think, a connection with hope. Isn't it also a characteristic of hope to imagine? Can we hope without imagining? And hope without a will to act? Is still that hope or just a melancholic illusion? Surely, art and hope have something important in common. They both have the ability to project life into the future. They are two ways of living the present and projecting it into the future. To do this, they both need imagination, will, and action. But there is a price to pay. The great Italian poet Giacomo Leopardi wrote about hope. Hope is a very wild passion because it necessarily carries with it the very great fear that things we are hoping for will not happen. Well, also the activity of the heart is quite a torment. Maybe by telling you a bit about myself, I'll be able to understand why I came to this very strange title. How my sentiment of heart and hope was born and developed, and how it is for me now that I am almost 64. As you have been told, I am a composer, a pedagogue, lecturer, and now less frequently a conductor. Many activities, but the most important for me now is composition. Well, honestly speaking, I had never thought of becoming a composer because when I was a kid, I was in love with science, especially astronomy, and my dream was to become a scientist one day. But things in life always change. We meet many people, we visit many places, we make many experiences, sometimes joyful, many times sad, and a sort of journey which takes us everywhere. A journey that takes us to places of the mind and the imagination. My curiosity made my journey to start. Journey. I remember the words of the Greek poet Konstantinos Kavafis from his poem called Ithaca. As you set out for Ithaca, hope your road is a long one, full of adventure, full of discovery. I may wonder, it was me who decided to begin the journey. Was I aware of it? Maybe yes, probably not. Maybe both things together. But then, okay, how did I come to be a composer? Well, I remember that was when I was a very little kid. One day my dad gave me a box of wooden bricks of different shapes with which I could build anything. I loved it. Then when I was 5, my parents gave me a Lego box. Okay? In my youth, that was not the Lego we can see now in the shops with on the box what you must build: a spaceship, a ship, a car, even flowers, or a piano I have seen. That Lego box was just a transparent box cover and many different colored bricks inside, nothing else. But this simplicity permitted my imagination to work and my fantasy to go free. Those bricks could become a lot of things. Anything could be turned into anything else. I had only to imagine it and to do it. Once I built a very strange house, I remember, following my fantasy. Then I showed it to my mom. She looked at it and said, "It doesn't look like a house." Well, in a way, she was right, because that house was very strange, had wings and wheels. For me, that was a house that could move and even fly. Why not? You always have to help adults to imagine. Sometimes. In that little me playing with bricks, maybe something was taking a direction. When I was 8, I began to study music. I must still thank my mom for this, because she always encouraged me to do it, even when I didn't want it. Solfège was a drama for me. Well, over the years, those bricks became the notes with which now I compose my world of sounds, just inventing. One thing about the verb to invent, because it does not mean to create anything from nothing. It comes from the Latin word invenire, that means to find. And you can find if you search. However, is it possible to start searching without having the secret hope that something will be found at the end? I think it isn't. Composition was not my first interest. I graduated in guitar. When I was 19, I went to university, studied philosophy and psychology. And at the same time, I began to study composition at the Milano Conservatorio. I did my best to do well all those things together, but then I realized it was not possible. Sadly, I had to leave psychology, which remained my passion anyway. For about 10 years, I taught in several little music schools, paid by hour and very little. It was hard, but I made it, and it was useful. The first time I came to Hungary was in the summer 1982. I was 21. It was very exciting. There was still the Iron Curtain, and for me, born and grown up in a big city in Western Europe like Milano, crossing the border between Austria and Hungary was like entering another dimension of time. That fascinated me. Hungarian culture immediately captured me. That year I went to Szombathely, to the Bartók Festival and seminar, and I was admitted as a conducting study student with Somogyi László. I returned there in 1986 to study with Eötvös Péter. Hungary became my second country. It gave me so much, not only culturally. My wife, Judith, our daughter Flora was born here in Budapest. My parents-in-law, Földi Schimmer, is a member of this academy. Here I met personalities such as Kurtág, Jenei, Szőlősi, Eötvös, Tihanyi, Sári László, and many others, Gergely Vajda, and Ritok Nora, another member of this academy. Nora, you know, is the founder of the Igaz Györgyi Alapítvány, which offers education to disadvantaged children to help them in their personality. That is to say, through art, they are offering hope. They are generating hope. With some of these people, a great friendship was born. As a teacher, lecturer, I love to tell about Hungary, Hungarian music, culture, poetry. I realize also that I have been the witness of the last 43 years of your wonderful country, with moments of hope and moments which are very difficult. In 2000, the Salzburg Mozarteum called me to teach there, finally some stability in my job. I was also active as a conductor, but composition was that way of making music that made me feel well. I explain not only an exciting activity, I explain composing is for me like a therapeutic need. Anyway, composing is just not writing a piece that maybe will be performed once and nothing more. The first and the last performance. A piece of music, a poem, a painting, are not just a product. They contain and must contain an entire world. With our secret hope that through that piece of art, even small, that world will come to life. There is another aspect. I think we artists, allow me to include myself into this group, we artists and cultural people must be in touch with the world around us, not to live in a room or a tower, because self-isolation makes our mind and creativity poor. By living the reality around us, we know we will experience very different feelings. These to be added to the ones we are experiencing from our life, private life every day. I would like now to show a little work of mine. It is called Free Haiku Against the War. Here is the Hungarian translation of the three haikus, written the haiku by my colleague Simone Pansolin, in the modern style of the haiku, not in the traditional form of the haiku. So immediately after I read the haiku, my mind was already elaborating music material. And the piece that I'm showing now is this. I made the video also. Thinking about current reality, I do believe that words like concern, anxiety, fear are nowadays very familiar to us. We are feeling disoriented, scared, sometimes even hopeless. When I was young, what was important for me was looking for opportunities, doing things, pursuing a career. But over the years, many doubts came over me about the function, the role, the meaning of what now as a composer I am doing. But this is for all people of culture, I believe. Again, the question, what is the sense of being a composer? Is it just writing a piece, being performed, and finally to be called Mr. Composer? I will try to find an answer considering two elements that are for me fundamental. One is communicating. Of course, always keeping a high quality in this, I try to do my best. My communication is not a rational passing on of an information from me to someone. To do this, a laptop is enough. It comes instead from a profound need of mine, which is not entirely rational, but mainly emotional. This profound need is to share. And this sharing, this second element contains the first. Not just sharing a work of an experience. For me, even this moment, with me telling you about myself, is sharing. Sharing that will not end, I do hope so, with the last second of my lecture, but it will remain in our memory. In my memory it will, for sure, with the wish that I will tell it about it to those that are not here with us now. Another way of sharing is teaching. For me, it's like a journey taken together with my students. Through teaching, we keep alive what we share with our students. Then they will take care of it and will share it on, even when we will be no more. By doing this, we are moved by the hope that what is beautiful and valuable will remain and will live forever. By doing this, we generate in our student the love for beauty, truth, and hope. Actually, sharing a piece of music is a little bit problematic because music is abstract and listening is something we have to learn. Moreover, a piece of music exists only if a performer and the listener exist. When I compose, I keep in mind these two entities. This does not mean I am the servant of them, but my works are my need to express and share. They are my feelings, they are my thoughts, they are what consciously and unconsciously I am. Because when I'm composing, my unconscious and conscious part are cooperating. Okay, sharing. Sharing a work of art is sharing knowledge, emotions, beauty. Two important things must be considered, I believe. First, a work of art should not be only entertainment, I think. If so, if it is only entertainment, gradually loses its values and at the end will become just a common and useless habit. Second, a work of art will exist in the future only if one person at least will get in touch with that. He or she will love it and will feel the desperate need to share it with other people. Only then a hope for the future can be. We have mentioned now three crucial words: art, hope, future. And here the speech gets full of concern. We are totally aware of the dark times we are living in. And I remember Bertolt Brecht's words from his poem An die Nachtgeborenen. Wirklich, ich lebe in finsteren Zeiten. Das arglose Wort ist töricht. Eine glatte Stirn deutet auf Unempfindlichkeit hin. Der Lachende hatte die furchtbare Nachricht nur noch nicht empfangen. Crucial question. Can a piece of music, a poem, a painting, save a country from dictatorship? Can they save at least one life while the bombed city is burning? They can't, I'm afraid. But after many years, when the last witness of that tragedy will be no more, then that piece of music, that poem, that painting will be the true witness of that tragedy. Those works will keep alive the memory of those tragedies. Those works will help people who will come to know, to reflect, to understand, and to learn, if they will be willing to do that. This depends and will always depend on us, on our will to do and to share. Once more, I believe being the witness of our time gives meaning to our job. This is our task, this is our need now. About this, I would like to quote Thomas Mann. In his Appeal to Reason, a speech given in Berlin in 1930, he says, "There are moments when the artist cannot proceed according to his inner impulse because more immediate concerns imposed by life drive away the thought of art, in which the tormenting crisis of the collectivity also upsets him." In his later writing, reacting to the Munich Agreement in 1938, with the apparent diplomatic victory of Hitler, published under the title Achtung Europa, Europa Vigyázz, Thomas Mann writes, "What is needed today is a militant humanism convinced that the principle of freedom, tolerance, and doubt must not be exploited by a fanaticism which is shameless and without doubt." He also warns about the dangers of manipulation through propaganda. Today, we are convinced that it is more important and easier to dominate the masses, introducing propaganda in place of education. Violence is an extraordinarily simplifying spirit. Thomas Mann's words deserve to be read and meditated even today in Europe and overseas. Could we artists make even a little positive change or just create a hope for it? Pessimism takes me, but a sentence by my compatriot Antonio Gramsci helps me. We must combine, in Italian, dobbiamo combinare il pessimismo della ragione con l'ottimismo della volontà. In my case, I strongly believe that a continuous and passionate sharing of the art with people will generate knowledge, awareness, sensitiveness, enthusiasm, empathy. And therefore, I strongly believe that through art, hope can be born. To conclude this pleasant meeting of ours, and thank you and greet you all, I would like to show you the video of a recent work of mine. It is a piece for violin and voice, where the violinist must also sing while playing. It is called That Ebb and Flow by the Moon. This is a Vörös-Marty translation of the verse. The performer in the video is Fiona Robertson, a fantastic Scottish violinist, and I wrote this piece just for her, inspired by her talent. The words are from the Shakespeare tragedy that I immensely love, Lear Kirai, King Lear. This is one of the most touching moments I selected. The old King Lear and his daughter Cordelia have been imprisoned and sentenced to death. These are his last words to his daughter. In my piece is the female voice that sings those words, as if Cordelia herself is recalling them. This is a kind of theatrical piece, actually. The first part is instrumental, expressing the painful atmosphere of the moment and the many thoughts. Then the voice appears. Through the words of Cordelia, the profound relationship between a daughter and her father comes out, but also Shakespeare's King Lear reminds us that life is very hard and uncertain, and that there is no substitute for moral rectitude, wisdom, understanding, and patience. I put the Hungarian subtitles to, and I used a wonderful Hungarian translation by Vörösmarty Mihály. I hope you will enjoy. And here is the video. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this, not only thought-provoking, but very brave, brilliant and brave lecture. As I can see, you go for, or you travel in some sort of a syncretic art, as we could see in these two pieces. So then music takes the dominant role, the main role, but words and images, visuality are incorporated or intercorporated into your compositions and performances. And well, it was not only brave, thought-provoking and brilliant, but also very timely. It's quite sad that we live again in an age of anxiety. And it is just alarming how often we go back to these authors, Thomas Mann, Bertolt Brecht, others, writing in the 30s. When you quoted Bertolt Brecht, I live in a dark age indeed, it records the American poet's line, Theodor Roski, or Röttger in the German pronunciation, "In a dark time, the eye begins to see," which is a reference to St. John of the Cross, but it's a wonderfully pentametrical line. And this hope you were talking about is definitely very much we all look for and we all need. So thank you so much. And this is the diploma or certificate to prove that Simone Fontanelli is the honorary member of the Széchenyi Academy of Letters and Arts. So welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So this has been Simone Fontanelli's inaugural lecture. The lecture is over. Thank you for attending it, and I give him over to you so that you can congratulate him and exchange a few words. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.